What's the crack, lads? Welcome back. It is Thursday, and we're just giving you a quick Thursday update here. We've got new Showtime Aerial Fort, Van Dijk. We've also got Ta, and we do have Manchester City's Ruben Diaz as well. So, yeah, you might hear it from my voice, lads, but I am a little disappointed, man. Not with what we've actually got today, which we'll go through, but more so that we just don't really have an idea of a timeline as to when the next big update is going to be coming. I mean, you know, for all intents and purposes, we seem to be a month behind compared to where the game was last year. Now, I'll talk about these bits and pieces in a bit more detail. This is just going to be a little bit of a content update to show you guys, if you're not at your console, what they have added today. These new players will probably be OP. So, I mean, the way I look at this, man, is that, you know, if people were struggling that play long ball counter, or people were struggling with centrally controlling the middle of the defense, these cards look to kind of rectify, you know, any bit of advantage players that play out wide had. So that for me is a bit of an issue, because it's like, well, how much more limiting are they going to put out wide? How much more limiting are they going to put possession and actually working the ball in? Okay, but they do add those aerial 4 players. We'll have a look at those in a second. Festive season campaign is still ongoing until next week. I mean, we'll keep saying it. Maybe next week, the 16th, that will be D-Day, you know, because I don't think they'll let it go into February. But who knows at this stage, man? Who knows? Because the festive campaign is going on till the 16th. Maybe they needed that extra week just when they came back from their break, right? But we do get a free aerial fort player. We get a couple of our phases as well. Now, I'm on my road to, or my free-to-play one here. They've added a couple of bits and pieces, more so kind of like little bits and pieces. They've had this voting campaign in here where we have this, so you can basically just say, what is your favorite? You know, I'm going to say out wide, because out wide is definitely my favourite by a good bit. And you get your position trainer for that. That's the 4th vote. So they've just simply taken over from the surveys, right? Also on top of that, we do still have the festive campaign. But just to go through this very, very quickly, right? We've got events. So the events are pretty much the exact same. We've got Unlimited back. We've got the Spanish club still going, and the co-op is still going. Versus AI, we've got the national teams, which is going to be your free player of the week spin. And we have our Spanish teams still going on. The Club Legends is still going on. The co-op is still going on. And the festive journey is still going on as well until next week. So, you know, it looks like next week is going to be... Well, listen, I don't think I'm that surprised, to be honest with you. Because usually this is the pattern that they've done, you know, where they've actually released the, you know, the match pass, the live data update, a couple of stats changes, a couple of player live update ratings changing, and then obviously the eFootball League phasing, right? So this phasing kicks off until the 13th of the 2nd. And then also the week after they usually put these updates out is when we do get the kind of bigger update. And we know that we're going to be getting a new mode. They've also added a couple of new objectives as well, right? Now, we've complete most of these objectives, but if you haven't, it's your last kind of week to do the festive ones. And then the match pass. Yeah, they've added a new match pass as well. So the match pass is still going to be at the reduced price if you've never purchased a match pass before. Jokeres is here, and Cole Palmer. So these are the 2 players that you see here. They're non-booster guys. They're pretty much the same as their standard cards, with a couple of differences and a couple of improvements. I mean, Cole Palmer doesn't look too bad. I mean, he actually doesn't look too bad at all. Just a little slow, but you can rectify that. He's got a fairly decent base level of stats, right? But yeah, it's pretty much the same then with the match pass all the way through, right? So that's kind of it. They've added really nothing else here so far to the GP points or the eFootball point store. They have added a new pack, which is Rijkaard. And yes, ye ask for it, ye get it. It is another long ball counter manager. Yes, boys. No, I think that they are going to be adding the long ball counter managers, because most people are now playing a mixture of long ball and possession or long ball and quick counter. So long ball counter is always going to be the meta. It's always going to be the main formation that most people want if they're pushing rank. And it just streamlines the game into a really good, you know, easy to win type playstyle. Now, I'm not saying that there's no skill. Don't mix my words and say that, oh, you know, I play long ball counter, but I play possession. Yes. But I'm just saying that the AI are set up to play long ball counter. That's all that there is to it. Obviously, you need skill to still play long ball counter. But yeah, that's the pack that they've added there. And then also, they've added nothing here in the eFootball point store. So the players are the exact same. There's nothing in the strips here at all. And then the items have just literally just been refreshed. They're the exact same as they were, which I'm kind of a little... I'm a little bit surprised, I will say, by that. Because I didn't think that they would just simply... These, I was kind of saying, like, yeah, maybe they'll just refresh these. But the GP market, like, or the eFootball points market, I think is just completely pointless now. It just really is, right? No new objectives apart from continuing on the festive ones. They've added 1 or 2 to that. And then last but not least, we do have all the cards. But we'll get to that in a second. They've added with the daily game as well. They've now added some extra rewards to the daily game, right? Interestingly enough, we still haven't gotten Castolo or any of the old Master League players. They'll probably wait for them to come until the next major update. I feel like we've been saying talking about the next major update now for months, you know. But yeah, they do have. I went out of it. Sorry, boys. They have added some new cards in here as well. To the rewards, to the reward section here, not to the Drogba section, but to the actual chance deal that you see here, the daily game box. So they've actually added N'Golo Kante, and they have added Vitor Baye, right? So and Gavardiol and Bernardo Silva. So they've added a couple of players: Alvarez, Gavardiol, Silva, Kante. Kante looks the pick of him. He's 39 levels. He looks absolutely ridiculous, man. This card, in fairness, he looks ridiculous. He's got 39 levels with Fortress. He's got one-touch pass, weighted pass. Looks ridiculous, man. The only thing he's missing is blocker, really. But yeah, that's going to be a good card, I think, for people that they do get him. The rest of the cards are only okay. Victor Baye is a really old legend. But it's kind of nice to see they haven't forgotten about the old legends as well, that they still have them there. But yeah, the rest of the packs, the big one is that they've added this new pack here, which is Aerial Fort. This is the player of the week. They've also added these mid-season MVPs. They look very similar to the ones that they did before. Now, I'll probably get a couple of these as just a try out, to be honest with you. You've got Hakimi, you've got De Gea, you've got Baliba, Buongiorno, Ryan Gravenberch, and Pedri. Some of the players look decent. We'll have a look at those later on in the stream. But yeah, they are the free players if you've got nominating contracts. The same with these cards here. And then also, this is the player of the week that you see here, right? So you've got all of these players here. And then we also have this here, right? So these are the Aerial Fort players. Virgil van Dijk looks absolutely insane. 27 levels might tie back this card a little bit, but it's a build-up. He's got Aerial Block, which is a brand new booster. And it says increase the heading, defensive awareness, jumping, and physical contact. So we did predict one thing that was true. We did predict that we'd get new boosters, and we did predict that we get new skills. So that did actually come today. So I had heard that. So I'm glad to see that actually did come true, to be fair. But yeah, it is what it is, man. I think at this stage, it is kind of difficult to, I think we're just in a bit of a kind of a bit of an impasse at the moment because, we want gameplay now. We want something to grind. We want to change to what we've been playing for the last 6 months. At least for me. I'm not speaking on behalf of everybody. This guy looks beastly as well. But yeah, for me, I think, the cards, all that sort of stuff, that's always going to be there. I'm looking for a bit of meat, on the bones now, and we get nothing really here either. There's no mention of anything apart from the daily map game, or the daily game. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, lads. We will be streaming later, and I hope to see you guys in the stream. Come by, let me know, have a vent. Are you happy with what they've added today in terms of nominating contract, the match pass, all of that sort of stuff? What do you think of the new Aerial Fort players? Let me know. But I'll be back streaming in a little bit, and I hope to see you in there.